Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you for coming to my presentation and honored to meet you here. Let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Herniwati and my partner are Melia, Dewi, Judiasri and Nabila, Siti, Mahdiyyah. We are from Department of Japanese Language Education. In this opportunity, we would like to present about application of peer teaching in training students to teach Japanese or Mogi Jugyou in microteaching. And my partner Nabila will present this presentation. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Nabila to start the presentation.
Thank you, Mrs. Herniwati. Today, I would like to present application of peer teaching in training students to teach Japanese or Mogi Jugyou in microteaching. First, I will explain the peer teaching method. This study aims to describe the use of peer teaching methods or peer tutors by students in carrying out Japanese language teaching practices in microteaching courses. The peer teaching method is a role-playing cooperative learning strategy that is applied so that students are active, respect each other, work together, and provide an assessment or evaluation after the teaching process is complete. And the purpose of this research is first, applying peer teaching in Japanese language teaching practices by third semester of 6th grade students in micro-teaching courses. And the second one is providing the new insights and opportunities for students to collaborate with their fellow students in cooperating and providing assistance during the teaching practice or Mogi Jugyou process in front of the class. And the last one is knowing the effectiveness of student abilities after the learning activities process of peer teaching in Japanese language teaching practices, as well as being able to provide an assessment of the appearance of teaching practice activities. Okay, the next one, I will explain the literature review regarding the peer teaching learning method. The peer teaching learning method has advantages such as increasing students' confidence, developing social science, and discipline and responsible behavior. It also improves speaking skills, trains group skills, and creative thinking, and can improve academic achievement. According to Jamara, stated that peer tutors are very appropriate to get the participation of students as a whole and individually. The strategy provides an opportunity for each student to act as a teacher for his friends. With this strategy, students who have not wanted to be involved with will actively participate in learning. And Surahmad and Febrianti stated that peer tutoring is one of the learning strategies to help meet the needs of students. This approach is cooperative and not competitive. Students who work together will foster mutual respect and understanding. And students who are involved in peer tutoring will feel proud of their role and also learn a lot from their experiences. Okay, furthermore, we use the research method, namely classroom action research for third grade students, totaling 32 students. And the initial stage is planning, teaching, and practice activities, implementing and observing the process of Japanese language teaching activities through Zoom meetings. And in this slide, we can pay attention to the design and research flow, where the student must prepare lesson plans, teach and reflect on teaching results, and assess their peer teaching activities. Okay, next. Okay, the next one, I will explain the findings and discussion. In this finding and discussion, we divided peer teaching into 3 parts of activities. Firstly, peer teaching plan before carrying out teaching practices in micro-teaching activities, which is like lecturers divide students into several groups and prepare learning implementation plan or RPP or lesson plan and provide teaching materials that will be presented and determine the time for Japanese teaching practices. And second one is the process of peer teaching learning activities in micro-teaching activities, which is each group of students determines the theme of the material and will teach in the online teaching simulation practice. And lecturer monitor discussion activities carried out in each breakout room. And in one meeting room, 3 students carrying out the teaching simulation, and the rest become students and observers who will assess and provide assessment and input. And the third one is students' abilities after the process of peer teaching learning activities, Japanese language teaching exercise, micro-teaching activities, which is the student who act as teacher, show good self-confidence and are more creative in using a variety of teaching materials. Students are more enthusiastic and more active in the implementation of peer teaching, learning, and teaching exercises. And students have diverse, creative, and fun teaching abilities that can make it easier for students to learn Japanese. Next. Okay, the next one, here is the screenshot of the peer teaching activities. Next. And the conclusion, here is the application of peer teaching in the practice of micro-teaching Japanese language teaching practices, or Mogi Jugyou, is helpful for students in preparing learning tools such as making lesson plans, learning media, and practicing. Students give each other input to their group mates, and with careful preparation, it will minimize the hassle, and students who become teacher and more active and creative in teaching practices. And students who become teacher have confidence in delivering Japanese language teaching materials and can collaborate with students in learning activities. Next. And this is the reference for this presentation. Yes. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.